Hello everybody, my name is Waffle Toast, and this is my review for the Transformers Studio Series KSI Widow. Before I start the review, quick shout out to my good friend Incidental Reels. He got me this for Christmas, so if you want to go check out his channel, link will be in the description, or most likely the pinned comment. Now with that being said, let's get into the review. And just to get it out of the way, I'll go over the accessories. She comes with two identical arm blasters right here. And she can't hold them, but they do tab onto her wrist. There are two indents on either side that this will just plug onto. It is a bit difficult, but it will go on eventually. There you go. And that's how she looks with that. Or what the instructions say you can do is there's this big tab right here that will go into that slot there, and you can just stick them onto the underside of the back wings. This is the most frustrating part of the figure, is getting the damn accessories off. But you just plug them onto the underside of the wings, which honestly doesn't look too bad, depending on how you have them angled. It could be like a jetpack or something. Not too bad. Something I do want to mention, though, is I did modify this. Normally, there are two small pieces of plastic sticking out from the underside of this knee joint. That makes it so when you bend the knee straight, there is a slight bend and it doesn't sit flat on the inside. So I just snipped that off and it allows for the leg to stay straight. I do want to cover quickly the looks of this figure. I know I don't typically do that, or like I briefly glance over it, but I really want to talk about the looks of this figure. Because every time we get a Bay vs. Decepticon, or every time there's been a Bay vs. Decepticon in all the movies, they've always been, like, bland colors. They've been blacks, grays, tans, dark greens, stuff like that. I love those designs, don't get me wrong, but they do get a bit boring over time. Which is why I'm really glad to see this bright orange pearlescent plastic. Now there's two things I'm a sucker for: neon plastic and pearlescent plastic. I don't know, something about it just scratches the itch in my smooth brain and makes me love something 10 times more than I should. And I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but the pearlescent plastic on this is just so good. And with pearlescent plastic, there comes a downside because there will be like slight marbling. I honestly don't mind that, and I think it looks pretty cool, but that's just my opinion. Just something I thought I'd point out. Head sculpt, I'm not the biggest fan of. I don't know why. Something about it just looks too... Well, I get that all the Bay vs. Designs are humanoid. They're going to do that. But I don't know. Something about this just looks off to me. I do like the attention to detail. The ball joint connection for the back of the head is actually molded to look like the rest of the hair. I think that's a pretty cool detail. But yeah, just wanted to go over that quickly. So, that being said, let's move on to the articulation. Head is on a ball joint. Cannot really do a 360 because of the shoulder pads, but she can look up that far, and can't really look down because the hair blocks the head from moving down. Arms are on a ball joint, can go out that far, can't really do a 360 because of the shoulder pads. There is a bicep swivel, a 90-degree bend at the elbow, move the back wings out of the way. No waist rotation, but the legs can go forward that far, can go back that far. Knees would be able to bend 90 degrees, but they get blocked by the kibble. And I guess if you start transforming the leg panels a bit, you can get a just below 90-degree bend, maybe like a 88-degree bend or something. Thigh swivel, can't really do the splits because of the thigh kibble. No ankle tilt because of obvious reasons. That's it for articulation, and I do want to talk about this. Now, this is one of the first, if not... Actually, no, I think this is one of 4 fembots in the entirety of the Bayverse, because we had the RC sisters in Revenge of the Fallen. I heard someone say that Buckethead was a fembot at one point. If you don't know, Buckethead is the left hand of Devastator. Not sure how I feel about that, if it's even true, because I think this was like a one-off Reddit post I saw years ago. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, probably isn't true in the slightest. So this is what? One of 4 fembots? Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, not even, because this is a concept art figure and doesn't make any appearance. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I just completely lost my train of thought. Oh, right, the legs. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. They're too chunky. I get why they're like this. But that being said, there is so much empty space on the back. And I think the argument Hasbro used that this is a fembot, so they tried to keep the, silhouette down or whatever. But if it gives us this chunky-ass leg that has no articulation thanks to the kibble, I would have preferred a big backpack instead. Because it's just a shell that unfolds. And I get there are a lot of Transformers that are doing that now, and I don't really like it. It just seems very lazy to me. But with that little rant out of the way, let's move on to the size. She is just shy of 5 inches tall, and for the people who do not live in America, just above 12.5 centimeters. Here she is with Chief and Kiryu, like always. And if I forgot anything, I'll edit it in later. With that being said, let's move on to the transformation. Okay, that transformation isn't the greatest, but it pays off because look at this car mode. Now, I'm not exactly sure what car this is. I know it's some sort of McLaren because the back of the box says so. I know it's a McLaren, but it looks cool. You cannot deny this doesn't look cool. And this is where the pearlescent plastic really shines. Like, pun not intended, but it just looks so good. And again, I don't know if I said this, I'm not the hugest fan of orange. It's not my favorite color. Something about the pearlescent plastic just makes the orange look so good to me. But enough rambling. The size of the car mode, just about 4.5 inches. For the people who do not live in America, that's just about 11.5 centimeters. For the width of the car mode, that's about 2 inches. For the people who do not live in America, just about 5 centimeters. So, with that being said, if you've watched this far into the video, which I doubt any of you have besides my one friend that puts this on for background noise as he does stuff. But if you've watched this far and you're not my friend, please consider commenting, liking, subscribing, all that good stuff if you want to. And until I upload again, whenever that may be, goodbye.